Right, there's still another couple coming in, so I shall admit them as and when I can. There we are. Good morning, everybody. So this morning, it's the last coffee morning before Sarah and Tom run the New York Marathon on November the 5th. And they're doing that to help provide a financial education to children and increase access to education. If you would like to donate, please visit justgiving.co.uk/crowdfunding/IAB-charity. A few fun marathon facts. Now, those keen-eyed among you will know I've done marathon facts in the past in the run-up to London Marathon. So we've got not so heavy facts this time. So fun facts. Marathons are 26.2 miles long. The fastest man is Kelvin Kipton currently, who ran 2 hours 35 seconds in Chicago in 2023. The elusive sub 2 hours seems to be eluding the men. The fastest woman is Bridget Koski in 2 hours 14 minutes and 4 seconds, again at Chicago, but in 2019. But don't worry, Sarah and Tom. The average woman takes 4 hours 39 minutes. And the average man takes 4 hours 19 minutes. So no pressure. Did you know that New York is classed as a flat and fast marathon? Though it does have some small hills, but only 810 feet of elevation over the full course. And the average person burns 2,600 calories during a marathon. So make sure you fuel afterwards and replace all those missing calories. If you were me, you would be replacing it with beer, but you're not. So I don't know how you'll do that. Probably a burger. Anyway, good luck and enjoy the day. And now we're going to move very swiftly on to Emily O'Neill, who's a business manager and owner. And she takes and produces the minutes of all IAB, SMT, PSC and board meetings. She also assists with implementing new processes to increase efficiency and make good use of technology. This morning, she will discuss what a virtual assistant / online business manager is and can help with, the myths and the truths surrounding outsourcing and how to know when it is right or wrong for you to outsource. And hopefully members will gain more of an understanding of the role of a virtual assistant online business manager, and also to understand that outsourcing is different for everyone, and what works for one business doesn't necessarily work for another, but that a good virtual assistant online business manager will be able to recognise that and work effectively with you. Good morning, Emily.
Hello. Hi, everyone. Great to be here. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Do you wish to share your screen?
I do. I'm just going to do... Oh, I will do that once you've...
Can you do that now?
I can.
Excellent.
Okay. There we go. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for the lovely introduction. So yes, I'm going to talk about outsourcing to a virtual assistant and some of my top tips. So yes, welcome. And I think there's going to be a chance at the end for some questions as well. So yeah, let's go through and see how we go. So my name's Emily O'Neill. I'm based in Kent. I work from home. I have an 11-month-old boxer puppy called Maggie, and she is absolute chaos. So this was her yesterday, actually. So yes, that's what I'm dealing with on a day-to-day basis. A little bit more about me and my background. So I worked as an employed PA at director and board level for about 15 years before I went self-employed. So I worked mainly in the third sector with charities, worked for Action for Children. Some of you, if you're based in Kent, may know Demelza Hospice Care for Children as well. I worked there for 5 years, and I set up my VA, my virtual assistant business, in January 2018. So coming up for 6 years, which is crazy. And now I work as a freelance online business manager. So we'll come to that a little bit more later, what that means, but that's a little bit about me. But what's a virtual assistant? Now, no doubt many of you have heard the term virtual assistant. You've probably also heard the term a VA, a virtual PA, business support, an executive PA, an executive assistant, and an online business manager. Now, you've probably heard many more descriptions of what a VA or virtual assistant here is. But which one's the correct description? Because it can feel quite noisy, can't it, sometimes? You know, when we're looking at all these different job titles, what does it all mean? Well, technically, they're all correct. The virtual assistant industry genre is quite new. It's fairly new. It's kind of in the last sort of 10 years has taken off. So it's pretty wide reaching out there. There's lots of virtual assistants, lots of VAs. We all describe ourselves in different ways, which is why you would have seen, different descriptions like that. It's why it's also important to understand outsourcing, because we all do different things. Now, that doesn't make outsourcing necessarily easy, but it does mean that you can sort of, take things on board to make sure that the VA that you choose is the most appropriate person to work for you and to help you. Now, for the purposes of this presentation, I'm just going to use the term VA because it's just easy. So that's my kind of catch-all for this presentation. So what does a VA do? Now, VAs help business owners with so many different tasks. Now, I can't list them all, but some of the tasks include digital marketing, so things like social media creation, posts, blogs, website content, that sort of thing. It could also, a VA could also help you with scheduling those posts, so making sure they're going out regularly. Can also help you with engagement and commenting on social media for you as well, so doing it on your behalf. Some VAs also update websites, including uploading blogs, doing some kind of basic maintenance to the website, so things like updating pages, updating pictures, updating images, that sort of thing as well. Some VAs work with inbox management, so email management, and that would entail often liaising with clients and responding to queries, so being quite customer facing. But often what some VAs do is they would perhaps have an email relating to your business, so it wouldn't be their business that they're responding from, it will be from within your business. Diary management, so there's a lot of online meetings nowadays, Zoom meetings, face-to-face meetings, so some VAs would help with that side of things as well. Data entry covers pretty much everything, and project coordination, so for some VAs they would take a project within the business and they would manage that project effectively, so essentially take that responsibility and that kind of work away from the business owner to help kind of free up their time. But what do I do? So as I say, I started my VA career in 2018, and 6 years in, I'm kind of honing what I'm doing. I've niched, and I work now more as an online business manager, so that's slightly different to a VA. I'm looking at things around processes in the business, things that can make the business more time effective, more efficient, more productive. So things like managing email inboxes, and again, including responding to clients and managing those relationships. So taking that next level, making sure that clients are happy, that they're kept informed, and that everything's kind of okay with those relationships. I put in processes that help to increase the efficiency of the business. So we're looking at things that we might take for granted, but until they're there, we don't know that they work. So things like setting up rules to ensure your inboxes run smoothly. And again, these things sound quite small, but if you've got, 100 emails coming in a day, it can feel really overwhelming. So putting in some simple rules, some simple processes can start to bring that overwhelm down, and that's something I really am passionate about. As I always say to people, no one ever taught us how to use email. It just turned up one day, and we all do the best we can, but it doesn't always mean it's the most efficient way of doing it, and sometimes someone coming in and having a look and seeing what can be done differently can really help to free up time as well. I'm super passionate about using technology to increase the output and efficiency of a business. So programs, I'm sure you've heard of Slack, Asana and Trello. They are communication tools and also project management tools as well, which can really help to just bring up that efficiency of that business as well. Stop so many emails, stops things getting lost, is a safe, secure place to store things as well. So that's something I bring in as well. And again, managing projects within the business to ensure that they're completed on time. So yeah, that's a quite an important one, because as a business owner, when you're managing your business and you've got a project that needs, you know, to kind of, you know, get off the ground, it can be really hard to find the time to do that. So that's where I come in and help. So that's about me, that's about VAs, what we do. But why can outsourcing feel so tricky? Okay, little secret, I find outsourcing tricky. Now, I've spoken about outsourcing for 6 years and I still find it tricky myself. The reason I'm telling you that is that you're not alone. It can feel tricky. Now, some people absolutely love it and they will just give out all of their tasks without even a second thought, and that's great. But for many of us, it is tricky, because you feel like you're having to let go of some of that control of the business that you have built up. And that's what's really tricky. You have put the time, the blood, the sweat, the tears, the effort into this business. And deep down, you know that you can't do all of the tasks, but letting go of some can feel really, really hard sometimes. So that's why I think finding the right person is absolute key. And also to remember that sometimes there's going to be some tasks that you won't ever outsource, and that's fine. And I think that's a really important point to get across. It's really easy for virtual assistants to say, outsource everything, it'll be fine. It doesn't always work like that, does it? And also, it's not always the right time, and that's absolutely fine as well. And I think that's a really key point. For lots of small businesses, we go through peaks and troughs. There'll be times where, you know, outsourcing is absolutely key and vital, but there'll be other times when it isn't as vital. So I think that they're just important points from my point of view as a business owner to be aware of. But if you do want to outsource some tasks, where do you start? Write a list. Now, that's said like a true VA. But it really is the simplest start, and it absolutely is the best way to do it. Just write down all the things that you're doing or that you mean to do that are on your to-do list and have been on your to-do list for a while. And you'll think,
how many pages of A4 is allowed, Emily?
Oh, you can have as many as you want. Reams. And you'll often think, you'll go through these to-do lists when you're doing things and you'll think, oh God, I wish I didn't have to do this, or there's got to be an easy way of doing this. They are your tasks that can be outsourced often. But like I say, it's important to think about what can't be outsourced. So there are going to be tasks that often have a legislative requirement attached to them that can't be outsourced. And again, that's fine. But I think it's about being honest and open and thinking, okay, what could be outsourced, but also what can't be outsourced. So that's my top tip. Start writing a list. As many A4 sheets as you need, it's fine. So once you've got that list, where do you go? Well, it's time to get in contact with some VAs. And when I say get in contact, this take it slow. Okay, you don't need to be sort of, you know, getting started with working with the first person you see on social media, but do your research. Look on social media. LinkedIn is a hive of activity for virtual assistants. You will find thousands of us. The other thing I would say is ask your peers for recommendations. If you ask fellow, you know, professionals, they will probably either be using a VA, or they might know someone who is a VA, or they've got a friend of a cousin of an aunt who is a VA. So there's always it's always worth asking for those recommendations as well. Then book some meetings with VAs. Again, just short one-to-ones online. I would say, having worked in this arena for 6 years, that the feel and the click of a relationship is really important when it comes to a VA. And that, I don't want that to sound a bit woo, but you're going to be outsourcing tasks and it might feel quite tricky. You want someone you can trust. You want someone you get on with. You want someone that you know is going to do a good job. So having those initial meetings is really going to help with that. Now, always ensure that any VA or virtual PA or online business manager, any of those job descriptions that you work with, holds the appropriate level of insurance. that they're registered with the ICO, and that they provide you with clear terms and conditions. Now, I'm saying that as a VA who does have all of those, obviously, but it's really important. That's your kind of benchmark, your standard level that you would expect. Obviously, the appropriate level of insurance is important for obvious reasons. Being registered with the ICO, I think that's an important one as well. I mean, the amount of data we're all dealing with is vital, and also provides you with clear terms and conditions, protects you, also protects the VA, but you know that you're entering into the agreement that you're entering into. So yeah, that they would be my kind of three sort of things to look out for when you are looking for a VA. So that's me. And that's what I do, and that's my top tips for outsourcing. That's a really kind of quick run through, but I just wanted to give you a flavor of A, what a VA does, but also B, what it's like to outsource, and to recognize that it's not always easy to outsource. But if you are ready, then there are plenty of VAs out there, fantastic VAs, who can help you with the task that you need help with. These are my contact details. You can scan the QR code there if you want to chat more with me. I absolutely promise you will not be added to a newsletter list, so don't worry. You're not going to get any newsletters from me. That's just an easy way for me to capture your information if you do want to chat more. And if you want to chat more about how VAs in general can help you when it's the right time, or just more about, you know, the work that I do, then I'm more than happy to hear from you. So yeah, thank you so much.
Excellent, thank you. I've got a question. I'm not sure if it's for you or for Sam though, from Tracy. Hi all, fantastic coincidence that VAs are being talked about, as I desperately need some info. A VA for one of my clients enters up and sends out invoices for him. Does she need to be supervised for AML? Hard finding an answer as the issue relates to accountancy services, and it's a matter of clearly finding whether basic admin such as issuing invoices is in or out.
I was just typing a response to that, Caroline, but I can say it now. So as she's just inputting data, I'm assuming she's not providing any kind of tax service, but as VA is kind of quite a new role, I suggest, Tracy, that we just take that away and double check, and maybe just liaise with you on her roles and responsibilities a little bit more, just so we can advise you properly.
Yeah, I agree. It's not something I do. I don't tend to get involved with financy things. That's why I'm a VA. But it's something that has come up with past clients and with other VAs. Now there is some guidance, and I think it's HMRC guidance, and it does go into a VA would need to be supervised if they're doing a certain percentage of bookkeeping work as part of their kind of daily tasks. It's very complicated, or to me it's very complicated, but there is some guidance out there. But it's an interesting one, and it has come up a few times. Yeah, definitely. And I think it's a lot around that is around boundaries. So where she may not be doing, she may just be doing the invoicing or the admin now. With a VA relationship, naturally that evolves, and I think that's the boundary, you know, to be clear that it's not anything, you know, that anything else that should be happening there. But yes, there's definitely guidance.
Sam said if it's more than 5%,
that's it.
And then somebody else put a comment on, but I've lost that comment now. There, I found it again. I don't know what's going on with my computer today. I'm also a VA. Selena says, I'm also a VA, and they should contact HMRC directly about this. They are very helpful, and I'll try and find the email address. That'd be great, Selena, if you could.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's always best to err on the side of caution as well, because...
I mean, if you're not sure, just contact HMRC and double check it out. I'm sure they'll soon tell you whether you're meant to be or not. Tracy said there was a statement by someone from one of the accountancy bodies who said that entering invoices didn't count as accountancy services, but HMRC guidance isn't very clear. It's difficult to whether it's data input or bookkeeping, isn't it?
Yes. And one of the I'll send Sam the links. There was a VA body or a VA organisation that did, I think, had some input with HMRC directly years ago about, I'll try and find it. It was an article I saw, so yeah, I'll send that over.
Yeah. Eva said AML basic training is good to have anyway in today's world.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean it is. Yeah. Thank you very much, Emily. There doesn't seem to be any more questions coming through.
Thank you.
Oh no. Was it Society of Virtual Assistants? Is there a Society of Virtual
I
Assistants?
think it was the Society of Virtual Assistants. Yes, I think it was.
Well remembered, Selena. Oh yeah.
That's them. I think they were the only ones brave enough to broach
So Google the Society of Virtual Assistants and hopefully they'll help.
Yeah, definitely.
Excellent.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Emily.
Stop
Very
sharing.
informative. Right then, we're going to move very swiftly on to Tony Walker. And I'm hopefully going to say this correctly, who is the founder of Analytics. I'm sure
Close.
he'll correct me when he comes on. There he is. His relationship with the IAB is many members use their services. And he's going to discuss simplification of data capture, specifically CDD and financial insights. Hopefully members will gain how technology can simplify tasks and make decision making easier and lead to a better understanding of your client and not just knowing your client. Good morning, Tony.
Good morning.
Did I pronounce that right?
Analytics, but yeah, I mean, it's
yeah.
you try and
It's
create
a
a
tongue
new
twister for me.
Yeah, try and create a new name that hasn't been used before and isn't going to infringe someone else's trademark. Means you have to throw an X in there somewhere, otherwise. Yeah. So that's it. So it was Armadillo to start with because we're about being secure, and then we found infringed someone else's trademark. So it was like, all right, so what are we? We're Analytics and Armadillo. Smash it together. Analytics. There you go.
Excellent. Good morning.
Etymology. Good morning. Right, so I am going to share the screen as well. I get the dry topic of AML, don't I, really? But it's good that we've segued into it, talking from the virtual assistant side. But let's start with, I'll share my screen and we'll start talking.
Yeah, and I'm just going to read out some of the chat because there's a page on HMRC apparently, and it's www.gov.uk/guidance/money laundering regulations, accountancy services provider registration. Sorry about that, Tony, but
that's all right. That is
people that
fine.
watch the video can't read the chat.
No, that's absolutely fine. I am just going to try and make my screen make more sense, make that into a slideshow. It's not going to be death by PowerPoint, do not worry. And I don't think I'm sharing the right screen, am I? What are you seeing all this sort of chaff, or you just got a nice clear screen?
No, I'm seeing slide 1 of 8.
Oh, excellent. So we're seeing the chaff. Let me just stop sharing.
We're seeing
the... I'll do the
I'm back to looking at you now.
Sorry,
so that's nice.
It'll change. There we go. Desktop 2.
There.
Yeah, sorry. I'm a Google, not a Zoom user, so it's always a which one are we using today? Right. So yeah, let's try and make this hopefully informative and not too dry. I mean, a lot of people's eyes will have already rolled because we're going to go, oh, we're talking about KYC and AML. Yeah, but let's sort of see how can we make this two things: one, easier for everyone, and two, useful rather than just a compliance tick, right? So that's the aim of what we're going to do now. What I'm hoping to do is whiz through a few slides, talk about some stuff, show you something, because if someone says something simple, then they should be able to show you that, shouldn't they? Otherwise, it clearly isn't simple. Right. So AML, let's be clear what we're trying to do here. AML is about moving the money. So I think some answer to the question that was just asked about the VA piece is, well, you know, if I'm issuing invoices and I could be changing the bank details, well, there's a potential for money laundering there, but effectively it's about the money. When you often talk to accounting professionals about KYC and understanding clients, they go, oh, I've done my AML checks, I've done PEPs and sanctions. Okay, that is part of AML. There's a definite piece on the sanctions element, but the money is what's the important thing and is often the thing that's not done. So that's what we're going to kind of focus into. So understand your client. It's my phrase. Somebody used it at a gambling conference, and it was one of these questions where it's like, we all spend our time checking passports and photos, and we know the clients. We don't really know the client. You just know that they live where they say they live. What we really should be doing is understanding this client. Does their behavior match what they described? Are we expecting them to be doing certain things? So that's understanding. Right. So financial AML checks. You know, what is the problem? Well, the problem is we tend to focus on the KYC, not the AML. Right. So That's what I've just said. There's already a process most of you will have in place around knowing your clients. So let's call that sorted. That's out of the way. And most people generally consider PEPs and sanctions as being an AML check, which they are, but it's not the entirety of anti-money laundering. So let's say that's sorted. But really, it's all about following the money. That's what we need to understand, is where has the money come from? Does that business act in a way that it makes sense? So it's, as we all know from your professional body regulatory, whoever your professional body is, I suspect it's all IAB who are regulating you on this space, but it's a risk-based approach is what they're expecting. And as I said, ultimately, the regulators look for, and this you'll hear in every sector. So this isn't specific to accountants or accounting professionals. Every sector, regulators always look for, what is your procedure? What is your process? And do we see evidence? So effectively, they want to see the procedure consistently applied. And important is as an auditable output. So something at the end of it, you can point out and say, I looked at this and it's clear what I saw. And that often is the difficult piece on the money laundering side, because people go, well, I got some bank statements. Or what did you see? I don't know. I can't remember. I've highlighted this, but I don't know what it means. Not really auditable. So you might be doing something. And of course, it's painful. So that's the state of play. And so click the right thing. Right. So what is understand your client, and then not just KYC? Now, what I said is try to say at the beginning was, this is addressing a compliance requirement, but let's move along from there and let's assume that to some degree is a box ticking exercise. Can there be anything else we can achieve? So what I've just said. So if you had a simple process for your clients, if you had a simple output for you that could help determine the financial well-being of the business, and what if it verified a lot of questions that you'd ask of your clients? Now, many of you will use systems like, I'm not plugging other people, I just can't give you every possible system, GoProposal to work out, how do I price up a new client? It's activity-based, how many transactions have they got? Is it a VAT client? Is it not? All those questions generate this client looks like this, therefore I will charge them this much for their business. Well, what if we can do all of this in a simple process that allows you not only to address the compliance angle, but actually is beneficial to you because you now understand the client and what you're about to take on as a set of accounts. So what are we offering? Yeah, this is the sales pitch bit, I guess. Well, we can undertake a financial insights report on a prospective client. Okay, what's a financial insights report? Well, it includes multiple accounts, so it's not just one account. It's there's many banks and there's many accounts as the client wishes to link from their business. Yeah, probably 99 and a bit %. The reason why it's not 100% is those of you who know a little bit about what we do. We use open banking to access data. Metro Bank is probably the most obvious missing bank on the open banking wheel. They actually will be compliant. My bet is March. They actually told us January, but I can't see that being the case. Right, we give you simple insights. So yes, you still have to make a decision, but we make it a bit simpler for you. And this is the bit that actually is important because this is understanding the client. So what do we understand about the client? Well, financial health. What's the cash flow look like? Have they done in the last 2 years 7 or 8 VAT returns? Have they done 24, 23 PAYE, NIC or corporate tax filings in that period? As in, are they doing the things you expect them to do? One of the ones obviously that generates a lot of activity is the bookkeeping element of how many transactions do they have? Oh yeah, I only have a few in my account each month. And then you look at the account and there's hundreds of transactions. You're like, well, that's the whole problem of the pricing problem. Well, why don't we tell you that bit of data? And then other one is you may be, this client may be moving from another accounting professional, might have Xero, QuickBooks, Sage, whatever it is. You've got some sort of record in there. Well, now we've got the actual data from the bank to reconcile against what's in the books and records. Has someone played around with it and deleted some things? Well, we can now tell, and then we've now got the data to fix that. Right, so that's what we're saying. So we're going to address your AML question and give you enough insights to say, oh, okay, I can see things as expected or weird things going on. And also, more importantly, have a better picture of that client's financial behavior. And does it fit A, what they told you, and B, the type of client you want to interact with, as in, I've got tens of thousands of PayPal transactions, possibly not somebody you want to already do bookkeeping for. Judging by PayPal being a bit of a pain. Right, so let Omalytics take the strain. Let's simplify your onboarding process. So it is part of onboarding. Get the reports and CSVs. So we have actually got data in a format you can just use straight away of the clients you're going to take on. Make life simpler for your clients. I'll show you the journey. Takes them 2 minutes. And let's get some time back in your day, and let's address that audit question. Yep, I've got a consistent process and I've got an auditable output. So that's it. That's what we're about. Many of you will already know us because we do quite a lot of work in the accounting sector around getting transaction data for clients, obviously useful for reconciling bank feeds or accessing the data that you need simply for the returns. I like this little picture because it's like, this is a people's day, which is I need some data from client. Okay, I'll ask them. Well, then I'll chase them. Well, actually, I might have to chase them again, but chances are they just sent me the wrong stuff. So I'll chase them again. And then they send me the right stuff. Fantastic. But then I might have to do some work where I'm scanning it, manually inputting it. Oh, please don't be manually inputting it. And, effectively, you're taking 6 things to get a bit of data. Why not just get it digitally to start with? So we use open banking to get digital data to provide a various set of outputs, one of which is a transaction download, which many accounting professionals use. The other one is a financial insights report or a source of funds report. So that is presentation complete. I'm Tony Walker. I'm one of the founders of Omalytics. And what I am going to do is quickly show you something, because I think that's probably the most valuable thing here, because it's like, what we've just said, the word simple. So if people will, if Caroline will allow me to do a 2-minute, well, maybe 3-minute demo, and then I'll take questions if that's okay.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah. Certainly will.
Right, I'll stop sharing for a second because we've got to figure out which screen I need to go to. And once I've got a screen that makes sense, I'll start sharing again. And yeah, share my screen. Desktop 2. Right. Good. That looks like the right thing. Yep, I've got I used to think a portal with a big red button that says create report, because I'm not seeing a thing on my screen. No. I'll start again. It clearly wasn't, was it? Desktop 2.
No, it's just email addresses, to be fair.
Oh, right. Okay. Oh, that looks about
right.
Remember,
I've got different boxes. Yeah, I think that.
That looks like. Yeah, that looks fine. So it's got create report with on-point templates at the top. I think that looks about right, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Sorry, my screen seems to be showing something else, which I can't quite figure out why it's done that. So effectively, this is a standalone portal that cloud-based. You just log into it. It's just set up for your own practice. And this is where you make requests of clients. So I'm going to quickly make a request. I'm going to do all this live, which makes it a little bit exciting because you are waiting for an email to come through. But we communicate with your clients via email. So we're going to send an email to
the screen that we would see then.
This is pretending to be
if we
you.
Logged on.
Yeah, this is you making a request of your clients using our system. So this is you. This is the corporate or professional business name. I'll just put a reference in there. I'm sure you all have references for your clients. And then we're going to choose an option. We're going to do a source of funds analysis. I'm not going to do 2 years worth of data. It generally is. The only reason is I've got some simulated data to show you, because clearly you're recording this and I don't want to show my bank account details. Yeah. It only goes back to February 21. So I'm going to do a custom date range, and I will quickly do that. Actually February 22, not 21. So there we go. I'll go to there. No, I will go to March 21. Right, fine. I know the data covers it. Don't worry about other things. There's a little bit of a free text box. You can say, hi, Tony, please connect, your business accounts. And I'm sure you're more polite than I am. Tony, connect your business accounts. Right. Okay. So we're going to send this to the client, and then I'm going to pretend to be the clients. And the interesting thing about that is we can do all this on our mobile phone. So there isn't really an excuse for the client to say, I can't do this. This is the email that I have just created as accounting professional sent to Tony Walker. My
if you didn't have any spam emails.
I didn't look like it, did it? Actually, there was a Russian one. There was a Russian one in there. So someone's, there's definitely something spam going on there. So in our test environment, I've set ourselves up as called Decimal Point Accounting. If everybody wants to buy that name, I think it's a great name for an accountant, but it would be branded appropriately. So this is what the client gets. New data, hi, Tony, connect your business accounts. Okay, that's what I wrote down. That's what we've got. All I do is basically get started, which is click on the button. There's nothing to install. all they're going to do is go through a open banking journey with us as an FCA regulated entity, all quick, all secure, and importantly, all accurate. So let's do it. I have done this journey a few times in my life, so I am going to log in. We do ask clients to create a password. So let me log in, and smarter people would actually get the system to remember the password rather than me type it. But for sure, it is the remember. So this is, usual GDPR type things. What are we going to do to you? Well, we're going to take some data, 1st of March to 18th of October, so right up to date for your business. So that HK was the business name I put in. And all I do now is connect accounts. Now, as I said, I'm going to use simulator accounts. I will actually add one real account because I'll show you the journey, see what the open banking piece looks like. I'm just going to connect this First Direct simulator account. So that isn't a manifestation of what it really looks like. What I'll do is I'll also do a real account because it's a payment system, which is Wise. Now, I'm doing it on this mobile phone. I know I'm in the corner here. It's here. It's connected to my computer. But the benefit is, for users, if you've got your banking apps, then most banking apps have fingerprint or Face ID to log in. So logging into your bank is very easy. So I've logged in. It's asking me, would I like to share my data with Armalytics? Okay, yep, I will. And that's all they do. So some banks will ask you which accounts you want to share. For business accounts, quite often it's just a default of all your accounts, just share them. That is the data coming back. So that's an open banking journey. So that will look like that for every bank broadly. And what's that, March 22? So that's 18 months-ish of data. Takes a few seconds to get. I've now connected 2 simulator accounts, but I've also connected a Wise account there, a UK one, and a Euro account. And I'm not too bothered about that account because it's got 100 quid and I use it for coffee and train tickets. But that's the client journey almost complete. They just click continue because I've now pretended I've connected all my accounts relevant to my business. I'm going to create the report. And the important step is GDPR, like, are you happy to share your report with whoever the accounting professional is? Yes, I am. And that's them done. So we have just gone through what is effectively 18 months of data, got it out of 4 accounts, shared it with you. So what do you get? Because that's the important thing. So I've just gone back into the portal. So I'm now pretending to be the accounting professional. Just to prove this isn't all made up, there's the time there. It was modified at 11:41 and 41 seconds. That is right now. So there's now data. Good. Right, let's have a look at what this data is. So this is your financial insights report, which addresses your AML concerns. And it also gives you all the financial background about this client. So going through it, we've connected a number of banks, and these are the balances on those accounts as of this date. Okay, as you can see, you can tell one's not real because it's got Robert James Millitics and Anthony Ronald Walker. Well, I'm one of those people. However, what we first off do is what's going on the account. As I said, this is simulated data, so it's not the greatest picture. However, that's the activity on the account across those 18 months. Obviously, we've made this simulated data have some interesting points like £100,000 transaction. Now, admittedly, this is pretending to be a person and not a business, but you can get the picture here of what's going on. Now, one thing you take from this client is, well, it looks like, they get paid, they spend the money, get paid, spend the money, get paid, spend the money. Also, the account's positive throughout. It doesn't go negative at any point. There are some larger transactions, so we'll go through that. One of the questions we obviously had was, oh, well, how many transactions have they got? Well, I can tell you, 40 per month. Okay. Did they tell you that? Did they tell you something different? Or 79 in total. And then we'll go through some of the things that are kind of indicators of money laundering questions. Cash. Cash is a first point. So large cash deposits. Well, yeah, there is £4,200. Now, does that fit into the individual or the business? That's an assessment you have to make. But we're pulling out all of this data from what is effectively 50 pages of statement. We're then looking at repeating incomings. As a business, obviously you'd expect certain incomings, but these are repeating. So frequently, this was data we used for a conveyancing client, and effectively there was a gift. So we wanted to bring out the fact there was a gift. Then are there one-off transactions? Well, that £100,000 transaction was actually a Central Bank of Barbados. That's a real transaction, not for us, but for somebody. And that was, they sold the property there. That's what it looked like. There's an interesting money laundering marker here. This is often used, which is refund of high value goods. It's often seen as one way of laundering money, or money moved from a client's SEG account to a lawyer, etc. And then we'll just go flip side, what's going out? Yep, cash, lots of cash in this case, all cash points. Individuals obviously have standing orders and direct debits, as do businesses. You might be looking for utility bills, rental on premises, but certain activities you'd expect to see, maybe loans that they're repaying. And of course, repeating outgoings that aren't standing orders and direct debits. Now, for a business, these may well be VAT payments. I think in here, this is an individual. So as I scroll down, you'll get to one-offs. Well, we've actually got self-assessment, so that's kind of good. But for a business, you would see VAT payments, you would see PAYE and NIC, potentially mortgages, etc., etc. And I think that's the end of the data. And what we then do is look at the data itself and just color code things, as in, is it a direct debit, is it standing, whatever it is. But this is what you get today, which is a statement. And, there are, as I said, 50 pages of this to get the 2 years worth of activity. What we're doing is pulling out from those bank statements the data that is more of interest that you can look at, which effectively gives you answers to your questions on money laundering concerns, and it gives you answers to your questions on the financial health and activity of that client, and does it meet the description that you were given, and also does it match what activity you see in the cloud accounting software that maybe has been handed over to you. That's it. You can download a CSV. That would be a CSV of all the data. So if you really want to go and play around and pull things out, that's what it's for. And that is it. So I was trying to do simple. So simple was, if I can show you something in a couple of minutes, I think we can define the word simple as being that. And the idea is really giving you a consistent and auditable output that you can look at and go, actually, I can make an assessment on this. I'm not sure people can make an assessment on 50 pages of bank data. So that is it. That is me. I will stop sharing.
Thank you very much. So Sue J says, I looked at the software yesterday, was super impressed with it. And Louise says, it's fantastic software and I couldn't do without it in my practice.
Oh, Louise. Hello, Louise.
So there you go. Tinker says, was good. Is there any questions? There's no questions coming through at all for you,
That's fine.
Tony, I'm afraid.
That is okay.
But thank you very much.
Not a problem.
I think I might email you later. Have a little look at that for myself. But
that's always an endorsement, that is.
It is, yeah.
Sniff test has been passed by somebody, so that's all you need. Yeah. Louise said it's fantastic, it's fantastic software.
Fantastic software. Yeah. So yeah, thank you very much.
Not a problem.
I've got a question. Someone says, is it a subscription or a one-off?
I guess this is often the piece of string question, isn't it? This is always a practice size question. So we have a lot of people are taking a monthly subscription. So yes, it's a subscription service. But some of the smaller practices say, well, that doesn't really suit. So we do an annual where you just buy an amount of activity for a year. Right. So I guess that's a one-off in that respect. It's not a pay as you go. We definitely saw that as being a not going. So people started to pay as you go and then do nothing. So you think, well, it was a bit of a waste of effort. So subscription, either monthly or annual. So I guess that's that one.
Kind of whatever suits your business best. Really.
Yeah, I mean, it's a size question. If you're only doing you've only got a couple of clients, it's like, well, probably the subscriptions as a monthly don't make a lot of sense, but an annual, we can probably package the right sort of size for you.
Yeah. All right. Excellent. Thank you very much. Yeah. So anybody that hasn't got it, something to think about. I'm going to go to Kerry now for HMRC updates. Good morning, Kerry. Are you all right?
Yeah, good morning. Thank you very much. Good to see you all again. So I'm going to run through some of the key messages that have come out from HMRC since our last meeting. And also there was a couple of questions that have come out of ambassador feedback from the groups that ambassadors have had as well, which I'm just going to cover off some of the questions on there. The HMRC published an employer bulletin. I know I mentioned that last time, but the October one literally is hot off the press. It was updated on the 16th of October. I'm just sharing that in the chat. And for those that are listening, just Google on the Gov site, the employer bulletin October. There's lots of messages that have come out on that. So take some time. I can't cover them all off now, but some of the highlights that have changed within that is there's been some new guidance issued regarding the electric charging of company cars and vans at residential properties. So this has been I've been looking at this legislation for quite some time, as more and more employees are having company cars that are electric vehicles. And HMRC had previously maintained that the reimbursement of costs in relation to charging the company car or van at residential property was not exempt from income tax. So it's classed like a benefit in kind. However, they have now changed that legislation, and they will now accept reimbursement of part of a domestic energy bill which was used to charge a company car or van for business purposes. So therefore, just like if an employee has had to go to see a client and has charged mileage, the same kind of rule now applies for charging back some of the electric. There hasn't been an actual how-to and what is the sort of like a proper calculator for that, but employers just need to make sure that the reimbursement is fair towards the cost of the electricity relating to that particular business, maybe a percentage of the bill relating to the amount of work they're doing for business purposes. So take some time to have a look through that if that applies to anyone, either yourselves or for your clients. So there's also been some further guidance regarding correcting payroll mistakes for earlier years. So there's a lot within the employer bulletin about prior year corrections. Please take some time if that is relevant to any of your clients. A reminder also with Christmas coming up that there is an easement over the Christmas period about reporting real-time the RTI submissions and the FPS for the payroll. That, say for instance, employers always pay on the 28th of the month, but over the Christmas period employees are being paid on the 16th of the month. You still need to process your payroll and submit the payroll date as the 28th, because it can affect employees' entitlement to universal credits, for instance, because it may mean that it looks like they've been paid twice in one benefit period, for instance. So again, just bear that in mind. You may also have heard of basis period reform, which is taking effect for the 24 to 25 tax year. Now, this applies to clients that are sole traders or that are in partnerships whose financial year doesn't end on the 31st of March or the 5th of April. There is a new overlap relief calculation that has to be done so that the tax is reported per tax year, not the company's financial year. Again, a lot of input, a lot of information within the employer bulletin. So if any of your clients fit that sector that their reporting year is not the usual tax year, then really familiarise yourself with that, because that's coming in really quickly now. We've also just shared on the IAB social media that there's a new news release gone out by HMRC about phishing scams that's going out all about the self-assessment deadline. A lot of links for people to be clicking on, because that's text messages, emails going out that look really genuine, but they're not. So HMRC have really promoted this on their sites to say just don't fall for these scams. Okay, so they're sort of the main things. I've put obviously the employer bulletin in the chat, and again, just Google it. So there's lots and lots of things in there. A couple of questions that have come out of the ambassador groups. So Anita Maddock had said that she's finding frustrating that the agent phone line, especially for the self-assessment, you just cannot get through. There's been lots of queues after an hour and then being cut off. That helpline was closed for quite some time, as we all know. It is, they are aware that this has now become overwhelmed with the amount of calls that have come through. This will ease. They are looking into putting in extra call handlers for this period, especially as between now and January is one of the busiest times, shall we say. So hopefully you will start to see a difference on that soon. Very frustrating.
They employed some people yet, Kerry?
Well, they're just moving people into different areas.
They're just moving them about, are they?
Moving them about, absolutely.
They're bound to get someone that knows what they're on about then.
Yeah, hopefully. It's really important though, just on that point, to make sure that your clients that are self-employed have their own they can have their own personal tax login, because a lot of the questions and a lot of things you need to find out can be within the government gateway under their own personal tax or self-assessment login, more than what you'd see as an agent. So really encourage your clients to have their own personal tax government gateway, because you can do a lot more on that now. There's a lot more online channels for the personal taxpayer. And then Michelle Yanni has put a few queries from their coffee morning. Is there an agent app? If not, could there be? There isn't an agent app, and there probably won't be, certainly for the immediate time anyway. There's no plans for an app development for agents. The time is being spent on developing personal tax apps. And the agent forum that I discussed last month is really the online tool that you can start using. So certainly get yourself registered on that. We've also got on here that clients are seeking assistance in setting up payment plans on their behalf. Why can't agents do this? I do share your frustration with this because, of course, our clients do lean on us quite a lot to help in this. But the reason that we can't is because the responsibility of those terms and conditions lies with that client. So HMRC have to have that relationship directly with the client when it comes to paying off their taxes, because it is debt collection at the end of the day. However, we can sit with our clients, we can screen share our clients while they're doing the online pay-in, the time to pay, and we can help guide them through those screens, but we're just not able to take over that ownership of those time to pay arrangements. Why isn't there a dedicated agent line for updating the address, phone number, or agent-specific details? Phone resources, as we've already said about self-assessment, is quite they're putting the people in the places for the taxes, not necessarily for the updating of our details. So I will find out from HMRC if there's any better way around that. At the moment, I believe it's just the letter that we have to send in with our updates. So back to print and post as such. And then lastly on here was, why aren't agents allowed to communicate with the CIS department on behalf of clients? Well, we now can. So there has been an updated 64-8 form. So some of you might have had clients for many years who have signed their 64-8 forms, which you just Google 64-8 and you've got the new format online now. This has been updated with a section for CIS, which has never been on there before. And there are two tick boxes. One is for you to have online access for CIS. And the second box is so that you can communicate by phone or letter with the CIS department on behalf of your clients. So it's a good data cleanse when you're doing even your AML updates, just to see if you've got an up-to-date 64-8, because I know in our practice, we might have originally engaged with that client just for corporation tax or something, but then subsequently we're doing their VAT returns, we're doing their PAYE, they've taken on an employee, and the 64-8 hasn't given us all those extra services because they've signed it a while back. So, you know, we think that we can talk to HMRC, sit on the phone line for an hour, and then they won't talk to you because that tax wasn't ticked on the form.
Like someone that started as a sole trader and then has grown the business.
Yeah, absolutely.
They signed it as a sole trader and now you've got PAYE, VAT, corporation tax, CIS. Then
absolutely. And you may well have online access to all of those taxes because you've managed to
on the phone.
But they won't talk to you on the phone, or if you send a letter in, they won't communicate with you. So, but the form has been updated. It's a lot more comprehensive, and even there's an individual box so you can talk to them about their individual taxes as well.
Right. Get on with that. Anything else, Kerry, or is that? You seem to have had a lot this morning.
There's a lot of info. I've just seen in the chat, when can we do 64-8 online? Hopefully that will come down the line eventually, but still, you have to get that signature on it from your clients and post it. I'm afraid, but hopefully that will evolve.
Right, I'm just going to go to the chat now. So I've got Amalytix.com, which is spelled ARMALYTIX, and that's Tony's business. So thank you, Tony. Kerry's put the bulletin in, which, so again, just Google Government Employee Bulletin October 2023. And then Emily says, it's been great to be part of the coffee morning. Do feel free to connect on LinkedIn. And it's linkedin.com/in/Emily O'Neill virtual PA. You can find her. I haven't been able to join in lately and earlier this morning, working busy. Kieran, it's silly we see less as agents on the gateway. Most clients have no idea what they're looking for. No, I had a client come around yesterday looking for SA302s. What exactly software name? So we've done the software name. So yeah, and then just a lot of thank yous. Yeah, thank you very much. Right, over to you, Sam, for our last little bit.
No, just a quick one.
Morning.
It was just to make everyone aware that Sharon Carter, if you want to give anyone away, Sharon is one of our who's just joined our ambassador group, so it's one of our new ambassadors. So it's just to welcome Sharon to that group and just to let you all know that she is part of our ambassador offering an initiative. So welcome, Sharon.
Are we still looking for ambassadors as well, or to join
We
our
are
ambassador
indeed,
group?
yes, we are. There's an increasing demand for groups, but obviously we do intend this year to grow the programme significantly, and also that means grow people coming into groups. So the ambassadors do a lot of great work, as you well know, Caroline.
Yeah. I love my little group.
So yeah, there'll be lots of there'll be lots of comms coming out about ambassadors groups, you know, the benefits of them. So, but if you are interested in either a role as an ambassador or joining a group, then do reach out and email into IAB marketing. And
they are really good. Can I just say, my group, we don't really have a structure. My members will tell you we don't really have a structure. The IAB recommends a structure, but I kind of like to keep it informal as possible. But if there's anything bothering you, or you've got a client that you're not sure about, it's just a great place to sound it out and ask other people that are in that same situation and potentially have been through the same thing that you're now worried about. Just ask them. So yeah, but yeah, I love my little group. Brilliant. I look forward to it. Yeah. Right. And we are the same. We have a lot of experience there. Angie, another one of our ambassadors.
Indeed.
So yeah, the chat's going to be overrun now with ambassadors and people in the ambassador group. So I'm going to stop it there and say our next meeting is our next coffee morning. Even will be on the 15th of November. And in the meantime, Sarah and Tom, good luck with your marathon and your fundraising.
Happy training.
So yeah, happy. Right. Bye, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.